Hello guys, in this video I'm making just because a lot of people when they're trying to become a more data-driven company turn and actually use their data to generate revenue and actually utilize data analytics to grow their business. They face one of the challenges, which is basically that they always say to us at Stella or me that they don't know what metrics, analytical metrics or features they need to pick that they need to have and so on, right? And in this video I'm going to break down step by step the exact process of how you can go literally from not knowing how to pick and operating from the assumptions of picking correct metrics and features, but to actually knowing how to exactly pick correct analytical metrics and features that will generate you and provide you insights to actually make better data-driven decisions, spot bottlenecks, and actually grow your revenue, right? So for the contest sake, basically many businesses are trying, let's say you're trying to implement BI, business intelligence, you're trying to create custom analytical solutions, dashboards, you're actually trying to, at the end of the day, trying to utilize data in more efficient manner to actually drive growth, right? And they don't know where to start because there's so many data points, there's so many metrics in overall, let alone whole company, but let alone just in one department to actually pick and choose which one are the most significant that will provide the highest ROI, right? That leads basically to a big confusion to everyone, and especially if you have a larger organization of way over 100 plus 500 plus employees, it doesn't really matter. It just gets harder and harder, right? More bigger the company, the harder is this to do because there is so many people involved, right? And the biggest problem that they came across is also that they pick things that are not aligning goals, needs, and priorities of the company, meaning that they pick data metrics points for sake of tracking or for sake of operating from an assumptions, which basically at the end it results into those data and metrics not being used, not providing you enough insights, and of course not providing you with the ROI that you were at the start at the start with basically the ROI that you wanted to achieve at the start, right? And basically you any solutions that you build like analytical dashboard solutions, they don't get really adopted throughout the company, right? So you are not really solving any problem. So you're not even solving any problem, and you're not even becoming a data-driven company. You're just spinning in circles, right? Right. So this basically happens just because two reasons. Okay, you're not understanding full data potential. Meaning, when I speak to people or businesses, they are tracking and they think they are data-driven. They think they are data-driven because they're tracking certain metrics, certain KPIs. But in reality, you're not. Why? Because you don't know the potential of the data. Because with the data, sky is the limit, which I normally say. And a lot of people, businesses, or you watching this might think that close rates, your normal vanity metrics, that's being data driven, but that's only like the start. That's like level zero or level one, maybe, right? And with those metrics and with those KPIs, you're not really a data driven company. You're not gonna you don't even have a moat. You're not even utilizing data correctly yet, right? And that's basically because you don't really have an expertise between data and business. They cannot bridge the gap, right? And expecting, also the biggest thing is also to expect you to know everything before you start. Everybody tries and thinks that this is a one-time thing, and this is gonna be like, okay, we're gonna do this and that's done. No, not really. It's never gonna be like that. The data is always adapting to your business. It has to adapt because if it doesn't, it's gonna be worthless, right? And if you're expecting to know everything, every single metric that you're gonna track right now, and it's gonna provide you the highest ROI, that's completely false. Especially if you're not tracking or not being data driven to a certain stage. How would you know what to track if you're not tracking at all? You can't, right? You cannot because you're not actively using data at all, right? And basically here's one rule, basically the data, if it's not custom to your goals and it's at any stage, it simply won't help you, right? So if you think that you know everything and you need to know everything before you start, like you need to know what metrics, what tools you need to use, that's completely incorrect. Just start, right? It doesn't really matter because it is going to be constantly evolving and adapting, and if you don't start now, you're going to get left behind. Very simple, right? The data is more than ever important in this world, especially for businesses. And if you're not gonna if you're not gonna utilize data, you're simply gonna get left behind, right? Now, why should you listen to me? We're out here. We drove way over 10 plus million in pure cash collected revenue just by bridging the gap between data in business by developing custom analytical solutions, deploying and implementing business intelligence, custom analytical dashboards, AI models, and so on, predictive models, and so on. So you're able to basically turn raw data to actionable insights, so businesses are able to actually grow the business with data, right? We work with multiple companies from tech, software companies, agencies, service providers, business providers, private equities, and so on, financial firms, etc., right? And what separates us, basically, we have a deep expertise in basically business acumen, okay, business understanding. Why? Because every single one of our executives, including me, started from the business department, okay, from the commercial side. Meaning, for myself, I was a sales rep, then I was an account executive, then I moved into the revenue operational department before I even moved to the data engineering department and becoming more a technical role, right? And that's why this is our basically mode or so. And our goal is basically just to improve and help businesses utilize data more and more, implement BI, custom analytical solutions, dashboards, and more advanced stuff, so they're able to actually turn their raw data into actionable insights and actually grow their business with data, right? Here are some of the testimonials that we have. A bunch of them. You can stop the video and scroll however you want. Now, let's just basically start so don't we elongate these mistakes. Basically, people think that looking at the competitors, okay, is gonna solve. Basically, they start looking at the competitors and they be like, okay, if they are tracking this, we still should track that. Incorrect. Why? Because the competitor might be in a different data maturity stage. They might be already so much in an advanced stage. Okay, they're already tracking their descriptive, okay, historical data. They're already tracking predictive. They already have data established and data governance systems, processes, quality. Their data quality is at all-time highs and so on. And they're actually using the data all across their business actively in day to day. And they're in a different data maturity stage. And when you're at the different data maturity stages, your priority is going to be changing, because you can actually invest and time spending in more advanced solutions, analytical solutions that will actually grow your business even more, like AI, machine learning, and so on, right, etc., right? And if you are just starting out, okay, you're operating from spreadsheets, you're not even tracking data, or you're even maybe having some few dashboards, so on, you are like at level 1, okay, level 0, you don't even have data process and systems, okay, you're operating data infrastructure, what we call, established at the company, right? The second thing is not prioritizing correctly, meaning that you are not, you have like your metrics, you have your data analytical solutions, dashboards, and so on, and you know that some of those things will provide you very high business value, okay, high ROI. But just because these provide high business value, that doesn't mean you should do them, right? Because if you are gonna be thinking just in terms of business value, you can just like you need to understand that that doesn't mean ROI will happen right at this specific moment, right? And you need to look in terms of feasibility in business value, meaning that because you need to bridge the gap, okay, see in terms of like, if something is going to be providing you high business value, it should also be very high feasible, okay, it's lowest hanging fruit, and it's the most priority right now. Example is, okay, sales analytical solution dashboard might produce highest ROI right now versus some forecasting machine learning ARR model, right? Now, forecasting machine learning AR model might take, let's say, 2 months to build. It might take 50 to 100k dollars of budget even to develop. Okay, it will derive focus from your analysts and your developers to even build it. Not even to mention that you don't even have your data, okay, sales data visible, and you're trying to build this forecasting solution model, whatever it is. That might be helpful down the line, of course, it will be, but right now it's not, right? And that's what I mean by prioritizing it correctly. Tracking metrics with insights. Every single business doesn't really need metrics to grow their business, which sounds a bit ridiculous if you think about it. But you need answers, you need insights. That's why I always say, if you're gonna be thinking, okay, let's track ARR, let's track MRR, let's track this future usage, let's track ARR modeling, forecasting, churn rates, and so on, you can get lost in focused, because these are a bunch of acronyms that can mean 10 different things. Rather than that, you should ask yourself, what business questions, answers I want to see to make better data-driven decisions to hit our overall company goals, okay, my company goals, okay, my end user goals, okay, let's say I'm a VP of sales, CRO, marketing, what are my goals that will align overall company's goals, right? As example, how much are we closing our leads from paid advertisement, right? Track everything, meaning this happens oftentimes also if you have some success with data, okay, when you have success with data, and you are thinking, okay, let's track everything. This is so many metrics. Like you're thinking yourself, you're telling yourself, this is going to be good down the line to look back. This is very nice to have, and so on. I've been in this. We've been in this specific situation so many times that we know that not a single company ever looked at the things that were nice to have or were good to look back on. Simple, right? And I'm gonna prove that point in a second. But if something is nice to have, don't track it. Simple. With data, less is more. Every single business that we are in, there is only a handful key metrics and insights that every single department and user needs to actually make good data-driven decisions, right? And they don't need 10, they don't need 50, 100 data points and metrics to base a concluded and logical data-driven decision to make and actually grow a business, right? Right, quality over quantity. Now, so how to pick correct metrics with the highest impact, right? Now, insights, right? Start small, don't get overwhelmed, right? Meaning you start basically at the top, what is on top of your thing, right? Basically, at this stage, we would develop a data strategy. This belongs under data strategy, which we interview a bunch of stakeholders and users to uncover their goals, needs, and priorities, and of course, align this to overall company goals, needs, and priorities, right? And of course, their decision making and so on. Now, rather by listening out what metrics you need, start asking questions, which is that point here. Start by listening the questions that you want to find out the answer to, right? Okay, on a daily basis. Okay, that could be, let's say, what is keeping you awake at night? What questions are you constantly asking yourself for your team, or your team is asking you? What is the key information when it comes to decision making and so on? And what are maybe even be to a degree unrealistic, because with data everything is literally possible. So literally, what could be like, what insight can I use to achieve this end goal? Okay, my end goal as a leader, as a CEO of the company. Okay, so we're able to hit our targets, right? Okay, bonuses also, here's one thing that might help you. Okay, if you have your BPN process mapped out, which is basically just your business processes mapped out like this, you're literally what happens in your business, how you make money at the end of the day. And if you have this mapped out on your like birds in your flowcharts and so on, whatever you decide what to use, you can see the critical areas. Okay, the critical areas are the areas that are need to be 100% correctly done. Okay, if they're not done incorrectly, it's gonna be a disaster. Yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of delays. You're gonna lose money and so on, right? If something is that important, it has to be tracked, of course, right? And basically, how you're gonna do all this, okay, to get you the correct metrics, okay, what questions to ask. You're gonna utilize this template below. You write down, okay, utilize this basically exact template. End user, write your end user, who is this? Business question, okay, how much are we closing our paid advertisement leads, for example? This is a business question. As you can see here, I'm not saying close rate. I'm saying question that I want to find out the answer from, because that's basically what data is. Current way of answering it, not seeing it. Like, let's say, for example, you're not even tracking this. If you are, you might be saying, well, I export the data from XYZ, let's say. What do you want to see? This basically tells the value of it. If you cannot find out any single reason this is important, this is automatically nice to have, because basically writing this in very detailed manner, it will force you to basically provide you and force you to see, okay, what value this metric, okay, insight brings in. And then the fifth thing, pardon, is going to be what is a good or bad, meaning what is a good home close rate in this example, what is a bad close rate, right? What are you basing, okay, or monitoring success based on, right? Because if you don't know this, what's the even point to tracking this? Like, let's say, for example, one time we had an example like somebody wanted to track link clicks, and we got through this process, and they were like, I don't really know. Like, they were like, every single question we asked, they were like, we don't really know. And we simply told them, look, this is irrelevant for your sake of business, and it will not help you at all. And we moved on to the more actionable insights, okay, actionable metrics. And the last question, okay, which you need to ask yourself is in the red, what actions are you gonna take? Okay, if bad, what actions are you gonna take? If good, what actions are you gonna take? And this has to be done in much detail, because if this is not if you don't know what actions you're gonna take in both case of scenarios, don't track it. Like, what's the point? Like, really, what's the point of tracking it? It's not, right? And this has to be done in much more bigger detail, of course. And just by utilizing this template, it will vet out all the unnecessary metrics, and it will help you out to get the exact metrics and priorities that are important in this exact moment, right? Now, but for this sake, just write down everything that is on top of your head, so it's fast, and we will vet them out at the end. Now, prioritization, basically how to prioritize, actually vet them and to remove the unnecessary ones, is look in terms of business value and feasibility, which already explained above, 1 being the lowest business value and 5 being the highest. Meaning you are looking for things that are high business value and high feasibility. Okay, feasibility meaning it's lowest hanging fruit, is very straightforward to do right now. And you can utilize this column either way, or you can utilize this prioritization matrix. Okay, you can use this for analytical solutions, metrics, and so on, right? And in this example, actually this is like a live example. As you can see here, high business value might be machine learning pricing model, but at this specific stage, it's not really like it is high valuable, but it's not feasible, like very low feasibility, right? That means that it'll take time. It will take plus 6 months to develop. It will take, I don't know, whatever the reason is, and it's not priority right now. And in this quadrant, again, this one, lowest hanging fruits are here. Marketing, churn, sales. Okay, this one are gonna be producing the highest ROI right now, right? And by utilizing this prioritization matrix, okay, or these two columns, you're gonna be able to find out what metrics are important right now and are aligning your customer goals, needs, and priorities at this specific stage. And by this, you can develop a roadmap and so on. And this is how you vet, okay, and remove all of those nice to have metrics and useless KPIs. And iterate. This is not something to set and forget it. This is constantly evolving, right? With data, it has to evolve and adapt to your business. If it's not, it's gonna be worthless, and it has, okay, the overall goal is to increase your overall data maturity cycle, okay, value, which data maturity basically just means that you are trying to increase how efficiently or effectively you're using data in your business. Okay, we're making data-driven decisions and so on. And you can utilize screenshot this template, which basically tells you at what stage you are in the data maturity cycle. Okay, a start. There's so many. You can even Google this, just data maturity, write it down in Google, or you can screenshot this one, which is from our specific company that we use the most. Explorer, data is usually solely for specific reporting use cases. The organization is solely uses its own data for internal data, for making data-driven decisions. The business lacks cohesive and coherent data architecture. Okay, the data is all over the place, and so on, right? And that's basically how you can use this specific template, or you can just write it, Google it, and see where you are in your data maturity cycle. And of course, the goal is just to keep climbing up the ladder and utilize data more and more effectively to bring the highest ROI. So to summarize, establish your goals overall from the company and of course the end users. Write down the questions. Don't think in terms of metrics. Ask yourself what questions I want the answer to have. What questions, what answers do I want to have to specific questions that align all of these goals, needs, and priorities of the company and me. Okay, the end user prioritization, like actively prioritize based on the feasibility and the business value, and of course iterate on the go. Now, if you're looking to develop and custom analytical solutions, dashboards, implement BI, and of course turn your actually raw data into actionable insights to drive growth and revenue, you can book a call with our exploration team, and we'll be glad to help you.